How can we move a task or assignment in class from being focused on more low-order skills up into high-order skills? Or even if we've got a task that's already focused on high-order skills, how do we up our game a bit? Today we worked with a group of high school teachers talking about just that. One of the scenarios that we presented them with and asked them to decide whether it represented high-order thinking skills, lower-order thinking skills, or not, just to focus on technology, was the task of taking a bunch of loops in GarageBand and remixing the loops to create an original composition of their own to illustrate some musical form. Teachers were all over the map with what they thought that represented, lower, higher order thinking skills, or neither. So we spent some time talking about it, and we talked specifically about how do you move it from being a lower order task to a higher order thinking skills task. And 5, let's call them rules of thumb, because they're certainly not rules, kind of emerged. Rule number 1, include an element that's personal, something that the kid made. Like in that case, the kid made their own loops. Or maybe it's a picture that connects personally to the kid's own life in some way, or somehow has some connection to where they're at. Rule of thumb number 2, have them create something that gets shared, that gets published for an audience beyond just the classroom or the teacher. Something that touches on the audience effect. Publishing something for a group of even as small as 10 strangers who you may never meet changes the way you think about doing what you're doing. You want it to be that much more precise. Some people say that the difference between publishing for 1 and publishing for 10 is much more dramatic on the creator than publishing from 10 and publishing for 1 million. Have it be something that they work on in groups, but make it a group-worthy task. And a group-worthy task's got to have 2 components. It's got to have individual accountability so that each person is responsible specifically for what they do, and that doesn't impact the work of anybody else. And it's really got to genuinely require participation of everyone in the group. Make sure that whatever you do is put in some place that allows people to comment and get feedback from that larger audience. And lastly, whatever you do, teach me something. Teach someone something that you're learning in some way, and bake that in to the thing that you're creating together. These are just rules of thumb, not hard, fast rules. And not everything necessarily is going to feature all 5 characteristics. But the more we can move stuff to featuring more of those characteristics, then maybe the bigger bang we'll get for that buck. In what ways do you think you can, in your class, change an already really good assignment to incorporate 1 or more of these ideas?